Welcome back everybody to the Kirby Marathon, where I'm talking about all the Kirby games not featured in Kirby's Dream Collection on the Wii. But you probably already knew that, didn't you? Let's just get right into it. Last time, I covered Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, the first of two games in the series primarily handled by a different company, Flagship. Today, we're going to talk about Game 2, Kirby Squeak Squad for the DS. Without further ado, let's just get right onto it, shall we? 2006 was an interesting year for Nintendo, to say the least. The Wii was just about to begin its path to world domination. Meanwhile, the DS was just sort of coasting along. Touching is good. Oh my god, what? So that holiday, while everyone's off playing Wii Sports, Nintendo kinda just tossed another Kirby game on the DS with Squeak Squad. That's not to say the game is bad or anything, but we'll get to that. This time the plot is all about cake. That was a weird sentence. One peaceful day in Dreamland, Kirby is off celebrating his favorite time of the day, snack time, with one of the most beautifully designed slices of strawberry shortcake ever created. But suddenly, his cake vanishes right before his very eyes! Without thinking about it at all, Kirby just assumes that King Dedede is at fault and heads off to find him. Upon storming the castle and beating him up, which seems incredibly rude, by the way, it turns out that he had nothing to do about the stolen cake, and Kirby just mindlessly attacked someone in their own home. Kirby, dude, it's kinda messed up. And then, a group of mice, known as the Squeak Squad, show up and make off with Dedede's treasure and the cake. The king takes Kirby, tosses him towards the mice, pushing them all down a cavern, and now it is up to Kirby to find the true location of the cake and discover more about the mysterious Squeak Squad. It's altogether a solid enough premise for a Kirby game, despite the whole, Kirby breaking into someone's house and beating them up, but aside from that. You know what? Slow down that opening cutscene. Oh my god. Now, the most notable thing right off the bat is despite being on newer hardware, Squeak Squad reuses Nightmare in Dreamland assets once again. Sure, there's obviously plenty of new stuff to see, but aside from the screen size being bigger, it looks nearly identical to the games coming before it. And in my brilliant attempt at using this as a segue, the game plays like the games coming before it as well. Nailed it. However, despite coming off of the open world's Amazing Mirror, Squeak Squad falls more in line with traditional Kirby. Now, I made a little tease at the end of the Amazing Mirror video that I was saying that Squeak Squad is simply not a bigger and better game, but really, people are looking too deep into that. This is what I meant. Kirby was ambitious in trying to create a big world that's playable with multiple players, but still enjoyable when going solo. But Kirby instead went for a return to form with a level-by-level setup and a lack of co-op. I believe some people thought I was implying that I just outright didn't like the game, but really this is all I meant with that tease. No need to look too deep into it. Bleh. With that said, the goal is exactly what you think it is. Jump into a level, make it to the end, do that until the credits roll. There you go, pink out of 10. Carried over from the Amazing Mirror are a plethora of treasure chests scattered all over the place. Levels have anywhere from 1 to 3 somewhere within them, and, well, really, calling them hidden may be pushing it just a bit. While I do miss the open world setup, I much prefer this usage of treasure because regardless of what's inside them, I am obligated to collect them all since levels are only so long, and I will not let the game developers beat me on solving their secrets. However, while the rewards within chests are still fairly uninteresting, the ratio of useful items is definitely higher than before. Extra hearts, tracks for the music player, and spray paint all return, and honestly, the rest of the goodies are basically just groups of graphics that unlock one thing once you find them all. Like by beating a boss, you get a boss trophy, and after collecting all of the trophies, you unlock the boss endurance mode. By finding pieces of a map throughout each of the worlds, you unlock the ability room, which, again, houses every ability in the game. And at the very least, the more important items are found in a level's bigger silver chest, but they're no more hidden than the rest of them, so it kinda feels like a really roundabout way of unlocking things. Not every chest is right for the picking though. You're not the only one who wants the bigger ones. Here come the squeaks! When you get your hands on the silver chest, one member of the Squeak Squad shows up and begins chasing you, bringing the chest into their lair if they get a hold of it. There's the fast one, Spinny, the smart one, Doc, the big one, Storo, and the leader, Daroach. Wait, his name is Daroach? Now this is really the only thing that makes this game stick out from the rest of the series, unfortunately. But at least they have pretty cool designs. Just toss these guys in with Mappy and Miss Mouse, you got a good set of video game mice there. Not you, Mouser, nobody likes you.
No way!
The levels are incredibly short this time around as well, so at least if you do miss a chest, it doesn't take long to finally get it. In fact, each world can be beaten in roughly 20 minutes, and I know this is a portable game, so being easy to pick up and play is important, but man, the game goes by far too quick, and again, like Amazing Mirror, there really isn't much in terms of memorable set pieces, so the levels kinda just come and go without much thought. I would even say that some levels are offensively short. Like here. Look at that, that was one whole level. What? Also, the game was known as Kirby Mouse Attack in Europe. I don't know. Europeans, you tell me. Is the word squeak or squad more offensive? I don't know. And alright, that's not the only thing making Squeak Squad unique. Here, look! It's the inside of Kirby's stomach. I mean, really, who am I to judge? But Kirby, he has a pretty impressive stomach. Seriously though, guys, here's the thing. It was 2006, the DS has 2 screens on it. It was kind of an unwritten rule that practically every game, everyone had to use both screens to the highest capacity the developers can think of. There was no real in-between there. And here, it's stomach management. The adventure is filled with bubbles, holding items and copy abilities. They get stored in your stomach in 5 open slots, and you touch the one you want to use whenever you want to. The chests each take a spot up as well. Honestly, the whole concept is pretty unnecessary. As you all are probably well aware, Kirby games were never really known for being difficult. That much is obvious. But something like giving you multiple ability bubbles to hold onto for a boss fight, so losing your current ability means you just have plenty of backup, is just overkill. It ends up being kind of a hassle too when you are stocking up on items the whole time and need to clear out space to get a chest in there. You can mix items together to create combinations and save space, which is neat, but again, since the game is not too difficult, it's not really solving any purpose. You can also combine 2 abilities to make a brand new one as well, but if you were like me and thought this meant the return of Kirby 64 combo abilities, then no. You can eventually add elements to Bomb and Sword, but that's it. To be fair, elements do have an effect on the environment, which is a first for the series, but it has such a small effect that really, why bring back ability combos at all? You can also unlock different designs for Kirby's stomach. Yeah, I got nothing on that. It's just weird. Speaking of abilities, one of the better chest rewards are scrolls that each give one new skill to an ability. You probably won't really notice most of them, but the effort was definitely appreciated. Anything that gets us closer to Superstar's level of ability options is fine by me. And also, Cook, Mini, Missile, and Smash are all gone. Not too upset about those. As for the new abilities, well, Magic actually has a moveset now, making it surprisingly fun to use. Animal lets you dig through dirt, scratch enemies, and puts Kirby in a little bear-like costume, making him more adorable than he already was. Metal makes you invincible, but incredibly slow and heavy. A solid contender for the worst ability in the series. Haha, solid. And Bubble transforms enemies into bubbles, but also actually does damage, making it more useful than you would think. Which is good, because a bubble ability could be much, much worse. Lastly, by collecting all of the pieces of a medallion, these big ghosts show up out of nowhere and scatter around all the worlds, and give you the ghost ability when you defeat them, which lets you take control of enemies. But you don't get it until near the end of the game, so you don't even really get a good chance to use it. Actually, it's kinda similar to that cancelled Bottle's Revenge mode from Banjo-Tooie. Man, I am really pulling out all of the game comparisons today, aren't I? So, once again, the new abilities kinda suck, but at least the old ones are still as good as ever. High jump even makes a return, and Kirby now builds up his jump instead of just doing it, and it's adorable. Woohoo! And now when it comes to these sub-games, they all use the touchscreen, as to be expected. In Speedy Tea Time, it's a race to eat more cake than Storo and avoid the bombs, so it's basically just a touch-controlled Speed Eaters. In Smash Ride, you swipe Kirby around an arena trying to knock off these squeaker enemies and Spinny more times than they do to you. And last up is Treasure Shot, which is a race to throw more colored balls at sweets that pop up out of chests while avoiding bombs to get more points than Doc. So it's pretty similar to Speedy Tea Time, which is already pretty similar to Speed Eaters. So much for that. Pretty lackluster set of games this time around, but better than nothing, I suppose. And hey, there's multiplayer for these at least. Now to end off the adventure. After defeating DeRoach, Kirby is so close to his precious shortcake before Meta Knight comes in and takes the chest. What a way to make an entrance there, buddy. After taking him out, because I will be damned if anybody steals my cake and gets away with it, DeRoach comes back and steals the chest again, and upon opening it, the cake emits a powerful darkness smoke and takes control of the Squeak's leader, and he makes off for space. That's one messed up shortcake. After a battle with Dark DeRoach, which is actually pretty cool and the hardest fight in the game, the darkness removes itself from his body and runs off while we get a hold of DeRoach's scepter, the Triple Star. Does this remind anybody of those old ball catching toys, or is that just me? Finally, it is time to take out Dark Nebula, probably one of the tamest designs for a final boss the series has ever seen. The first phase is pretty easy, you just shoot stars out of a whole bunch, but once you take that out... Oh, wait, that was it? Man, Flagship really can't make a good final boss worth a damn. It turns out that Meta Knight simply wanted to keep the darkness inside of the chest concealed, but despite Kirby unleashing darkness onto the world, again, his plan failed. But regardless, the day is finally saved. The Squeaks decide to search for treasure elsewhere, and Kirby gets a nice slice of strawberry shortcake, courtesy of the Squeaks themselves, ending Kirby Squeak Squad. This whole game was about a cake. Overall, Squeak Squad is alright. Taking away my disappointment of not seeing a bigger and better open world game, between the lack of any substantial unique gimmicks, short levels, and the unnecessary ability storing mechanic, this is actually one of my least favorite games in the series. There is a little speedrun styled mode called Extra Game once you beat the main game 100%, but couldn't really bring myself to do it, honestly. The game is still totally enjoyable, don't get me wrong, but it's certainly not one that I go to replay multiple times like a few of the others. Like Superstar Ultra, definitely the better value on DS. Well, that about covers it. Probably not the outcome that many of you were expecting, but hey, what can I tell you? Kirby Squeak Squad would be the last game developed by Flagship. Not even just for Kirby, the last game in general. This is the last game that company ever made. I don't know what that says about them, you tell me. That wouldn't be the last main game in the series made by another company. Next time on the Kirby Marathon, we're going to talk about Kirby's Epic Yarn on the Wii, made by Good Feel. Good Feel, indeed. Oh, and before people start calling me out in the comments, if you start the game up on your birthday, the game gives you a happy birthday message, and it's kinda cute. So yeah, I didn't forget, you can delete your comment now. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked it, you should subscribe. There's more Kirby on the way, along with a bunch more stuff. I'm hoping to get Epic Yarn out soon, and I hope you're all looking forward to it. If you want more Kirby right now, here's my amazing mirror video, and a link back to the very first Kirby Marathon I did. They're a couple years old, so the audio quality is kinda crap, but hey, you may like them regardless, maybe, I don't know. But alright, it's time to get out of here. Bye-bye!